News 18. Saman Sharma and Sherin Elizabeth are now joining us live on this broadcast. Aman, coming to you first, a very good morning to you. A big day for all the people from all these sectors. What are the expectations that the Aam Aadmi has from this budget 2024?
See, Anjali, the fact which is coming out from the economic survey also tabled yesterday by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is very clear that the Modi government is on a very strong footing when it comes to the front of economy. There's an 8% plus growth rate last year. The projection for this year in the economic survey is 6.5% to 7%, which also I believe is a bit conservative, with India Inc. saying that India will certainly do better than 7% this year. Even the leading rating agencies, be it the IMF or be it the ADP, have said that India will grow at 7% in the present financial year. So the situation is comfortable. The growth rate is high. There are high tax collections. Just a few days back, rupees 2 lakh crore dividend of the RBI has come to the government. Government is also saying it is doing some quality spending in the terms of high capex targets. Fiscal deficit has been falling. It's about 5.1% right now. So obviously the government is in a comfortable situation and there is some shoulder room for doing maybe some populism here. So what the middle class is obviously looking at is some relief in the income tax slab. Will that happen or will that not happen? I think we'll wait for the Bahi Khata of Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman to be finally opened at 11 a.m. in Parliament. But obviously that has been the big demand, and also this is not just a demand from the people, also the allies of the government, be it the JDU and the TDP, are demanding, good special packages for themselves. The challenges, of course, are there. There's the issue of jobs. Even the economic survey says that 78.5 lakh jobs are needed to be created every year in the non-farm sector, given the rising workforce, and private sector contribution is needed to that. Compounding that is the challenge of artificial intelligence, which is eating into some jobs. That is also, artificial intelligence finds a prominent mention in the economic survey as well. So the government does have challenges. How does it create jobs? How does it create, speed up spending, especially in the rural sector? There are big schemes which have to be rolled out this time because they were announced in the manifesto of the BJP. There is the question of this 3 crore more rural housing, the houses which have to be built for the poor, 3 crore more houses. Then there is the other issues, the Ayushman Bharat scheme, which is to be extended to 70 plus people, 10 crore more people coming into the Ayushman Bharat net. So all these schemes will require big allocations. The solar rooftop scheme, for example, is a huge scheme that will also require a big allocation in this budget. So obviously the government has some room, but it also wants to do these social welfare measures to ensure that everybody is kept happy, including maybe some special packages for the states of Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, the two key allies of the BJP, the JDU and the TDP, who have been really stressing upon in the all-party meeting and other forums that both these states, they're not insistent anymore on a special status, but yes, they do want special packages, special help from the government to tide over what they say is a fiscal crisis for them in these two respective states, Anjali.
All right, Aman, please stay with us. We're also being joined by our senior editor, Pallavi Ghosh, on this story. Pallavi, experts believe that the focus of this budget will be mostly on the infrastructure and also the social welfare schemes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And just to take the point across, I think the main focus of the budget will be actually on job generation. When the Prime Minister last week, Anjali, did meet up with a group of economists and the Finance Minister was there and the entire team was over there, the Prime Minister acknowledged the fact that if we really want a Viksit Bharat, we want the government to walk the talk. While these schemes are good enough and they are important, what is most important is a reassurance to people that, one, they are not going to be losing their jobs to technology. And second, of course, is that there will be generation of more and more jobs. There has been a palayan or a migration of some people from the urban areas in some towns back to their farms, back to the agricultural sector. While many would see that as a positive sign, it is also seen by the economic experts as a sign that perhaps in the urban areas, there's not enough of jobs. So there are two things. One is that how do you generate those jobs? And second, how do you convince the corporate sector that you have to generate jobs? Most of the corporate sectors, of course, are wanting to cut their costs. So it's where they're extensively using technology. AI is a glaring reality. The Prime Minister on multiple platforms, Anjali, has accepted the fact that we can no longer shy away from it. In fact, AI, contrary to perception, can be used to our advantage to generate more jobs and, and some kind of a reassurance. In fact, the economic survey, interestingly, one recommendation it gave for corporate sector is that maintain a balance between technology and job. Will the budget make a mention of that? The Swadeshi Jagran Manch, for example, has recommended a kind of a robo-tax on the corporate sector who are extensively going to use technology like AI and therefore replace workers. That robo-tax idea, of course, was rejected by the finance ministry. But what is the alternative? Will an incentive be given to the corporate sector? Will they be requested and look, we are going to give you this much, but just ensure that only a certain percentage of jobs are replaced as far as the AI technology is concerned? What we are given be told by the finance ministry sources is that this is something which she would want to reach out to the corporate sector. Also, very quickly, in the economic survey yesterday, the private capex, that is the private capital expenditure, has increased, which means the corporate sector today feels confident. They are spending more and more money in investments, which is called the capital expenditure, setting up manufacturing units, so on and so forth. How are you going to reassure them? It's not just a common man like you and me who are looking for tax concessions. It's also the corporate sector, which wants more and more from the government in terms of slash in import duties for important raw materials and a reassurance that, okay, we are going to generate jobs, but we are going to get something in exchange. I think all of this could be an important factor of the general budget.
All right, Pallavi, thank you so much for those details. We also have Sherin Elizabeth and Arun Dhanta with us on this story. Sherin, who is tracking Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today. Sherin, what all is on the agenda of the Finance Minister once she leaves from her residence?
Well, Anjali, last time when I was here was in February when the interim budget was in fact presented, and now this time a full-fledged budget is going to be presented for the citizens of India. Right now, what we have been told is that at about 8:30, between 8:30 to 9 a.m. is when Nirmala Sitharaman, the finance minister, will in fact be leaving from her residence, will be going and going to the North Block. There she will be having a photo op. Apart from that, she will in fact be meeting the cabinet and then will be meeting the president, and eventually she will be reaching the parliament at 11 a.m. is when she will be presenting the budget. So there are, of course, a lot of expectations. The middle class, of course, has been expecting that some sort of a relief when it comes to the tax, whether there will be exemption when it comes to the tax. Remember, we are, in fact, a large number of the population are going through the new tax regime. They have accepted new tax regime. There could, in fact, be some sort of, initiative to encourage more people to switch to new tax regime, because even now people who have more than 15 lakh per annum have been choosing old tax regime. So there could in fact be some sort of an incentives that could be put in by the government to encourage more and more people to switch to new tax regime. Apart from that, of course, people are hoping for reduction in the interest when it comes to housing loan. Houses being affordable is something that the middle class is of course expecting. When we talk about the rural India, there are in fact expectations that there could in fact be push for a number of the schemes that has already in place. When we talk about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana or the agriculture sector, there are a number of schemes for the agriculture sector. There could in fact be boost to those schemes. All these are of course expectations right now. As you can see right now at about 8:30 to 9 a.m. is when we have been told that the finance minister will in fact be leaving from her residence. The budget has of course has to be approved by the cabinet, and later she will be meeting the president, and eventually at about 11 a.m. is when the finance minister will begin her budget speech.
All right, Sherin, please stay with us. We also have